fantastic initiative. How on earth are we going to pay for it for 60p per child?
Hello, good morning. Yeah, it's great to join you from a very noisy, very busy breakfast club at Denby Primary School here in Luton, and fantastic to see the children taking part. It's a big day for parents as we roll out 750 new free breakfast clubs. On the funding question, that the funding that we're putting in place is more generous than schemes that came before, and I'm afraid the 60 pence number that gets bandied about just isn't right. That is the daily funding rate for children, but alongside that, schools get an initial start-up grant and they get a termly payment of £1,000. So it is more generous than that. And I've just been speaking with Madeley, the head teacher here, and what she was telling me is that whilst they ran a breakfast club before, and some schools taking part might have done, others won't have done, actually what they're going to be able to do now is to expand what they offer to more children. They've got some hot food options this morning, scrambled egg, baked beans, toast, much more besides. This will make a really big difference to parents. It will be transformative, but also the evidence is clear that it's really good for children's attendance at school, for their behaviour, and actually really good for academic outcomes as well.
But the thing, I appreciate that the head teacher there might say this is all good news, but the Association of School and College Leaders said that generally head teachers are really worried about the basic daily rate. They say that you're being unrealistic about the costs involved. Meanwhile, another union, the National Association of Head Teachers, says funding could fall short and that concern needs to be addressed before the programme's rolled out, because there are already huge strains on school budgets. So it seems you're telling head teachers something that they simply don't believe and say, in practice, is not the reality.
Look, today is the first 750, but actually we had applications from thousands of schools and head teachers across our country. There is big demand and big support for what we're doing, but I think it is important to stress that this is the first 750. We'll roll out breakfast clubs nationally. That's the legislation that we've got going through Parliament at the moment. But we have the opportunity through these first early adopter breakfast clubs to test the funding model, to make sure that we're getting everything right ahead of the full national rollout. But this is a game changer for parents, and they are my priority and our children across our country.
Okay.
We were elected on a plan for change to deliver the change that people voted for, and today we're getting on and delivering that, and this is the difference that the Labour government brings to our country.
OK, I just want to talk, staying on the issue of children, the Child Poverty Action Group says that the number of children in poverty is going to increase significantly by the end of this Parliament unless you take urgent action, including lifting the two-child cap on universal credit. Is that something that you are considering?
I'm determined to tackle child poverty. It's what brought me into politics. I care about this really, really deeply. I'm leading the work across government with the Work and Pensions Secretary on our Child Poverty Task Force. We got up and running immediately after the election, and we are looking at all areas. Nothing's off the table to make sure that we bring down those numbers of children growing up in poverty, because it doesn't just score their life chances.
Sorry, you could still lift that cap. That hasn't been ruled out.
We're looking at every option, including social security measures, absolutely. But there are a range of ways. Alongside that, we know that we can tackle child poverty, and access to childcare is an important part of that. And the breakfast clubs we're launching today will make a really big difference supporting parents to get to work.